Hello, welcome back to Otter Pop Culture. Today we're going over the LA-based singer called Ellise and her debut album called Chaotic. So this actually was requested by Osiris with the heart emoji. Um, this person pretty much said like, "Oh, please get into this one," so I did. So here I am into it. And I am so happy that I got into this. I'm so happy that this person introduced this album to me, because I'm really excited. Because I only have history with this artist by like one song, and that's a very, very recent song. When I did a review over Iggy's last album, The End of an Era, the very, very last song called Day 3 in Miami, she's pretty much featured in it. So, and I liked her voice in that, and I pretty much, when I got the request, I was like, okay, I don't really know who this is, and the person's like, she's inside the Iggy album, and so I was like, okay. So I found it. I was like, okay, she has a great voice. I want to get more into it, and it's her first album, so I'm not like super late to this. So yeah, I'm actually happy with this album. I think this album is pretty good. I think it talks about a lot of gray area and nuances in the different spaces, and when it comes to relationships, and she's basically spelling out a good like story arc. It seems like there's some back and forth here and there, but the majority is pretty much about being in a toxic relationship, to a point of almost a little abusive too, if not emotionally abusive. So let's go over this. So I didn't really care for Fatal Flaw as much as I knew what it was about. Pretty much, she wants to be with this guy, and she knows it's not going to last forever, but everything about him is like really, really calling to her. And so she says, it's getting intimate. Tell me that you're into it. Don't want to be your friend. Don't want to, or want to be your, want to be on your skin. So that is, I get the gist of that. But that's not even the meat of this album. Like, that's just one piece of it. And then we go into Bubblegum Brand, which is the second single to this album. I didn't really care for it. I know it's about depression, but I felt like there's pieces of it where I wasn't really connecting with, because it wasn't saying things straightforward. And so I was like, I don't really know. I can't cling on to anything entirely, but I cling on some things. Like, it's hard to turn my mind off. Trying 1,000 ways to die. I'm still trapped inside. Guess I'm not the best at hiding. I do understand what she's talking about, and I do understand in that direction. I think I just got lost in a lot of the rhyming pieces that needed to rhyme together to get the full sentence to go, or like a metaphoric direction. Maybe it didn't connect with me. But I definitely connected with the depression feeling, especially the cry river so deep, can't get back on my feet. The blame is all on me. So knowing that like depression's kind of circling on to you, kind of being in that space, as much as it may be taken from other spaces of people make you feel that way or whatever. But in the end, it is your feeling towards it. But now we're getting to the meat. So here goes Over Breakfast, which was the fourth and final single to this album, and one of the best songs off this album. It pretty much just I feel like this is where the actual topic of the album really, really, really starts, because it talks about pretty much, this song pretty much talks about this. She knows that the relationship is ending, and she knows that this guy has slowly kind of removed himself from the relationship. So she wants a time to kind of talk it out, or a time to actually have a full-on closure with it, instead of him kind of just going, you know? And it seems like he pretty much is, it seems like she already knew, it's what she feels about him kind of fading away is actually accurate, due to the fact that she points out that you already got your flight booked. I was like, oh, wow, he's very prepared for this. So she says, she's like, let's talk over this over breakfast. Let's just have all this. Let's talk about all of this over breakfast, not just you kind of disappearing, or just going at night, or disappearing overnight, whatever. But she can tell that things are different. So she says, can't comprehend how fast this changed. You're different. I don't even recognize your bitter face. Tell me over breakfast. I already know that you wanted to tell me it's a dead end. You already got your book, or your flight booked. So yeah, very, very heart-wrenching in that direction. It's like, oh, wow, wow, wow. It's very soft too, because it's just like, it seems like she's not angry. It doesn't seem like she's angry. If anything, it seems like she's more sad that this is happening. There we go. That is happening, but she wants it to, I don't know, I think it feels like she wants more closure to where they both can kind of end it together instead of him kind of cutting it off completely. Going into feeling something bad is pretty much having a crush on someone that's completely unattainable. And she knows that. And she knows that all these things that is happening, but she has a hard time telling him that she has a crush on this guy. But she's only met this guy a couple of times. She's only hung out with this guy a couple of times. And so she doesn't really know too much about him, but all she knows is that she has all this feeling for him, and she can't even look him in his eyes, as she says, how can I say what I tried to say when I can't even look you in the eye? And then it says, I sound delusional, but when you kissed me, or when we kissed, you gave me an inch, I took a mile. So pretty much she feels a lot about this guy, to a point that maybe he's not feeling on the same space as her, but she doesn't care. She wants that. She really likes this guy, or maybe she does care. That's why she can't tell him, because maybe she has that fear like that he won't reciprocate it, because he's unattainable, pretty much. Heaven is the next one I really like. This one pretty much talks about the one partner finding the relationship being great, or it being heaven, while the other one doesn't see it that way. And so she says it might be but she says, and it starts off in a really great way. It says it might be heaven. It might be heaven if you loved me without all the loopholes. And then she goes into saying it's never heaven when you don't really get what you see. And so it seems like they're not on the same page of what they see as heaven inside the relationship. And so she, to the point where she kind of is feeling, she might even feel like very, like, taken advantage of, because she says, laugh in my face when I'm dying, keep it close, because nothing ever hurts the same for you and me, I guess let's feel it on our own. So pretty much she's saying that one thing that's hurting her in a relationship is not really bothering her. It's not really much of a priority on his side, as much as the other side feeling of what he feels may not be a priority on her side as well. But she seems to be the only one that kind of sees that. So she's saying, like, it seems like it doesn't seem, it's to the point that they have to kind of keep it to themselves and hurt on their own inside, instead of kind of vocalizing it to each other. The next one, Zipperlips, pretty much goes into the idea of secretly seeing her ex. So now this is a space where they're broken up, she said to everybody that they're broken up, but yet she still goes over to his house at night, and she says this, I say that you're left in the past while I pack an overnight bag. Close the curtains, please, so no one sees how fucking dumb I've been letting you in again. So pretty much she knows that having this relationship that she's going back to, or in a space that she's still involved with this guy, even though she shouldn't really be involved with this guy. She knows that. So but she feels very guilty and ashamed of doing this, because she knows she shouldn't be involved with this guy. But there's this hold that he has on her, it seems like, or the connection. And so she goes back, but she feels ashamed about it. And it's weird, because it goes into, wipe that look off your face. Don't act like you're winning a game while I'm standing here feeling ashamed. So it seems like the other guy, once again, just like in heaven and just like in feeling something bad, or not feeling something bad, over breakfast, it seems like he doesn't really take account to her feelings and how she feels in situations. It seems like it's all about more of how he feels in that situation than it is of getting her back into the life, more than the idea that she feels ashamed that she's doing this. So it's a Zipperlips is pretty much adding to the direction of, don't tell anybody that we're still technically together, because I told everybody that we were over. So I feel ashamed about doing this, because I know me being over was what I should be doing. Going into Bruises, which is one I didn't really start, but I did understand it. It's pretty much talking about not being able to leave this relationship because she really wants she wants to be in it. It seems like, but at the same time, he's kind of holding her there as she's like, blah blah blah. Forgave you with your hands around my neck. So it seems like it's a little kind of a forced forgive direction, and because he literally has a hold on her now, and she's left with all these bruises, but she still goes back. So she says, I can't tell you why I'd let you kill me with a smile. You hurt me and I pull you close. If love is hell, I guess I'll tell lies, at least you're mine. So she seems like the relationship matters more than actually what her feeling is with the toxicity between them. And I don't think you should really say with anybody that you forgave with the idea of them having their hands around your neck kind of thing. It sounds kind of crazy. And it sounds like next song, Chaotic, because this one kind of goes into more details about the issue. So this guy is not only inconsiderate, likes to ghost people, delusional, and cocky, but now he's also pretty much addicted to drugs. So that's fun. This is a great relationship going so far. So this one talks about pretty much him being in love with drugs, even though she really, really loves him. And she says, arms out to hand him my love, but if it isn't worth it, he only loves drugs. But then she says this part is just like, I don't care. I want it toxic. It's just a little chaotic. It's kind of minimizing the actual issue, because to say it's a little chaotic is a little bit annoying, it's a little bit tiresome. Might be the idea of the sarcastic direction of saying like, oh yeah, it's a little bit this, but maybe it's either sarcastic or it's just how she feels, but it's not. That's definitely a toxic way to see things, and to the point that she's like, stay on his good side and pout, or risk the whole thing. His mood swings knock me to the ground. It just does not look hot. It does not look great. But I do like the song because that detail and breaking that down is insane. I really like that. Take Me to Safety. This one talks about the idea of hooking up and rebounding after a relationship. And I have something to say after this, but let me break this down first. So pretty much she's looking for another guy. She has another guy that she's messing around with, but it doesn't feel, it's just temporary to kind of block off the feeling that she feels about the heartbreak and everything that's been going on after the relationship. So she says, he's not you, but I'm not complaining because nothing about this is love. Find someone to administer to kill the hurt, someone I could borrow. And then she says, you fill up all the spaces in my head, but he can't take me to safety. Take me to safety might mean like a direction of, but he's not going to be the one. He's not going to take away this pain permanently to be the one for me. That's not what she's looking for. She's not looking for love from him. So that's not what's going to come out of this. And I think it hurts her to know that, but at the same time, it's the one way that she knows to kind of soothe herself a bit or kind of distract herself from the pain that she feels. I would like to point out this is a second song that kind of talks about like after love. After a breakup, I went to go hook up with people, but none of it never works because it never will be you kind of thing. I get that, but I also feel like it low-key takes it, like, comes after the idea of hooking up. But I should understand the hookup culture is a little bit out of control in this world, but also hookup culture has always been around forever. So it's one of those things, like, sometimes I just want to point out that it's not, there's a difference between hooking up with somebody but knowing you're just hooking up with that person, and then using somebody to hook up with to kind of cover a pain, which is, I would like to point out as more of a rebound than an actual hookup. So it's one of those things, it's just like, it's interesting to see it in this way, but it definitely, and I feel her in that direction. But I would like to point out, this is not the whole and all of it. You shouldn't be, hooking up is one thing compared to hooking up after a breakup. There's two completely different bubbles. Next song, which is the first single to this album, 911. So this one is a really good song. I love the sound to it. I kind of like the whole sound to it. I didn't really care for the beginning first two songs. It kind of felt kind of B-list kind of sound production, but it got better and better and better and better as it gone on, to the point now we're at 911 and I'm like, oh, this is really good. So yeah, this one talks about being in an abusive and toxic relationship, but not leaving, but knowing that you will have to leave eventually. So knowing that she needs to leave or else she'll go insane. So she's like, I gotta lose my guy or I'll lose my mind. You must, but she's saying this because it starts off by like, hello, 911, what's your emergency kind of thing. So she's talking to a 911, agent, person, but pretty much, talking to this person and just saying like, this is what's happening. I love if you intervene and just get into this and stop me from doing this. Cause if I keep going, I'm going to go insane. And it's weird because obviously it's an emergency to her. It's not a physical emergency in that direction where it's like, oh God, like my house is on fire kind of direction, but it's that metaphor. And she says, you must think I'm crazy. Well, he does too. So I guess that makes us three. And then it goes into don't think I can take it. Every drama, with every drama, a piece of me dies. We both know it's bullshit. The longer that I'm with him, the less I'm alive. So that's all the things that she's telling this operator, 911 operator, and it's definitely, I really like the metaphor kind of compared to the two kind of thing. It's really interesting. And then we finally go into reality where I think they actually do break up, I think. It talks about not being able to face that the love is over. So as much as all this going, I feel like it wraps in full circle. Because after all of this, and she's breaking down so much detail about what's going on in the relationship that does not sound great. And her thought process that does not also sound healthy, but even in the end of it, she's still shook over the fact that it's over. So she's like, and I'm expected to let you forget my face, gone or lost and gone without a trace, but I remember the feelings. I won't let them fade. I just can't accept our fate. Even after all of this, she still can't accept the fact that they're done, that this is a bad relationship that they're in. So it leads you to kind of a weird, sad bit of ending it, but maybe it keeps in the theme of chaotic, so that's a good thing. I really feel for her though in this though. I give this an 8 out of 10. I really, really like it. I knock it down a couple because of the first two songs, but the album is really, really solid. I love the detail that she goes into with her lyrics. I love that she is not afraid to kind of admit some pieces of like toxicity of herself with the relationship too. I think it's kind of fun to see. It usually get the kind of Taylor Swift direction where it's like, it's all his fault. I am never responsible for any of this kind of direction with a lot of songs. So having it seems like where it's just like there is, when it comes to relationships, it's always a two-way street direction instead of a one-way, it's all this person and no one else kind of thing. I like that kind of breakdown, and also the idea of not really caring about it being chaotic is also very refreshing and authentic to see. Leave a comment below, tell me what you thought. If you like this album, let me know. If you like this video, hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell too so you get more of my videos. Thank you, Osiris, so much for suggesting this and requesting this. I'm so happy that I got introduced to her because now I'm going to keep track of her now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.